Hi, folks. You're with Tassos today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the international and internationally coordinated, internationally scripted campaign to target elite sports where white men are in the majority, and to have them attend compulsory anti-rape courses where an alleged rape victim comes out to lecture these bad, evil men to tell them that rape is illegal, and they're all de facto rapists, and so on and so forth. So I'm just looking one recently. The woman claimed to be that had been raped. She's supposed to have been raped. She was talking about her ordeal, but in fact she hadn't been raped. She'd been some guy had got they'd got drunk, and he was getting overly amorous, but they ended up not having. There was no rape involved. She was saying that because she was drunk, she couldn't give consent. It was thus technical rape, which is a different issue again. But the definition of rape has expanded over the last few decades to go from actual rape, such as violence, threat of violence, a gun to the head type thing, or somebody being, kidnapped and restrained, and so to instead on a very technical basis, which is how most white men get nailed on the rape thing. Technically, she couldn't give consent because she had 2.5 glasses of wine, not 2. That extra half glass of wine meant that her consent is not legal or has no legal standing, given that she didn't give consent or couldn't give it, or if she gave it, it has no validity. That means it's rape, you fucking damn fucking Nazi white boy rapist. Yeah? So they use the technical stuff to go after the white boys. In the case of non-white people, it's usually slam dunk. There's no real debating about it. It was violent, or it's this, or it's that. So it's a much easier path, and they usually cop plea deals. But the white boy argues, no, I got consent. Yeah, but she had 1/4 of a glass more wine. You rapist fucking. So anyway, but sports stars have always been a target of the rape industry, and it's an industry, make no mistake. Whenever rape is reported, it's exaggerated by 40 or so times. So if there was one rape at the university, they'll say there was 40. If there's one sexual assault, they'll say there was 40. So it's exaggerated out of all proportion, and also the definitions are constantly broadening. So if somebody says, "Hey, babe, nice ass," or something like that, sexual harassment, that's it, and it's sexual, and then they have a grading. Well, if he was sexually harassed, then he intended to rape her. Therefore, it's intentional, intended, possible, maybe ideologically contrived rape. So it's still kind of rape, or we're going to say it is. So there's also that ideological stuff of, you intended to rape her, therefore no proof needed. And then reversing the burden of proof as well. So that if we say that you intended to do it, you have to prove that you didn't intend to do it, which is an impossible situation, of course, to be in. So just looking at so these elite sports stars, these athletes, they have to attend these compulsory courses. Now, I don't know how many. I mean, some of these guys, they're super fit, of course, at the elite sports level. Some of them are not very bright. And some of them would have come from sort of poorer working class areas where maybe respect for the law wasn't as acute as it might be in other sort of parts of society. But nonetheless, they have to be lectured by these supposed victims who very rarely are actually victims. They're just propagandists masquerading as victims, and they go around and invent these harrowing stories of their ordeals. Now, when you're an elite sports star, you're a super fit guy, you got shitloads of money, you're a media star, and so on. 100,000 people come every week to watch you playing football, whatever it might be. then you get women queuing up to have sexual relations with you, and there are you have so many opportunities that was a quite a well-known sports star in Sydney, and he complained because he can't go out the door. He can't go anywhere without these groupies of women following him around and asking him to, hey, will you please fuck me, and so on. Now, these same women are the ones that will say, oh, he raped me, and all this sort of stuff, which is typically where she's pestering him for quick casual sex. So they have an encounter, and then he tells her to get lost, and she says, oh, I'll teach you, buddy, I'll say you raped me. So there's a lot of that going on. So this idea that they're actively running around raping women is beyond absurd. They've got such a supply of opportunities that they wouldn't need to do it. The second thing is, if you've noticed the women that claim they're being raped, there's certainly no. Some of them I just can't imagine they could be raped. They ain't hot-looking babes, let's say that. And it's inconceivable to me that anyone would even dream of raping these people, and unless it was some caring guy. I think, gee, you'll never get laid. I'll do it for you. I'll help you out here or something as a charitable case. Maybe there's that, I suppose. But this idea of targeting elite sports people, and similarly, in a few years ago, there was a sports stars being stalked by this woman, and she because he wouldn't come across, she slapped his face. So he hit her quite hard, and so she was able to bring an assault case against him. And his argument was, well, hold on, she hit me first. But the judge, well, yeah, but you see, you're bigger and stronger than she is, so you're the oppressor, and you shouldn't have hit her that hard, and therefore you're a brutish, aggressive maniac, and we're going to put you in prison. You go, what? And I noticed there was a case in Britain, Canada, and a few in the US, all at the exact same time, suggesting again, or not suggesting, clearly outlining this is very coordinated. But this idea of going to elite sports people and saying, look, you're all rapists, why don't you come and do a TV commercial with me to tell all rapists they're naughty and they're bad and it's illegal. Everyone knows that rape is illegal. Everyone knows that using force or violence or anything like that is how would you even want to? Why would anybody want to if you're terrifying, the other party or something? I don't get that. But my concern is, why is there not the same emphasis on training, say, women athletes, for example? Say going around, say, falsely claiming rape or using strictly technical arguments to try and argue that you were raped. That's not acceptable. Why isn't there an education program for them? But there isn't. No, I've known some sports athletes, some women athletes who complain bitterly that why is it that the guys have got women queuing up to fuck them, but the woman athlete doesn't have any such. There's no guys queuing up to fuck her. So she complains about it. So why is it the guys get all the chicks, but the female athletes don't get all the guys? What's the issue here? Now the complaint was that she doesn't get hot guys. There are guys around. She doesn't get hot guys propositioning her, and this was primarily her complaint. But apparently it's widespread. Female athletes, have much more trouble getting laid than male athletes do. But nonetheless, it's interesting how much effort and time is put into this. So, but the thing that I guess really was the rub with me is they have to watch like a small presentation. This is the elite athletes. They have to watch a small presentation where they're told the most outrageous lies. There are 1 million women who are raped every half second, and it's by you guys and evil men. And they had to listen to all this ideological, fanatical propaganda nonsense that's being pushed on them. And I think it would have the opposite effect to the one. I think they all know, hey, this is bullshit. Why do we have to listen to this? And it would create a sort of contempt for women as being, well, they're just liars. They're just, that sort of thing. So it would create, I think it would have the opposite effect. Now, the idea that you have to be told not to have sex with someone who doesn't want to have sex with you, why do people even need to be told that? I mean, for goodness sakes, isn't that a statement of the obvious? Now they could talk about, hey, if you do this sort of thing, you can end up spending 10 years inside prison. I mean, don't ruin your career for something silly like this. Just be clear that you're getting consent or something. They could maybe go on a soft approach, which would be advisors saying, hey, you guys are really talented athletes. Don't fuck up your athletic career by just a moment of indiscretion. They could come from that direction, which I think would be sensible, especially, drunken parties, that type of stuff. But the idea of giving the full ideological beat them over the head with the ideological nonsense, the lies, the exaggerations, the fabrications, and so on. Again, I think that has the opposite effect to the one intended. You've been fantastic today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening. One more to go.